In the beginning was the Word, and the Word was with God, and the Word was God. Gospel of John. And now, I would like to read excerpts from the book Leaves of Gold, which is filled with words from God, about God, and for God and His people. Stories, sayings, phrases, and tales compiled by its editors to offer spiritual comfort, hope, and morality in a world rapidly losing its way. Please do pardon my accent in some pronunciations. Thank you. Leaves of Gold. Forward. Poor indeed is the man whose mind is not enriched by some phrase of lasting truth and beauty which serves to restore his soul in the exigencies of life. Each of us needs in his heart's treasury the memory of a lovely line to renew fellowship with the great and noble of this earth. And, indeed, almost as great as the ability to write a line of strength is the ability to use that line to higher levels of emotion and achievement. To discover afresh in truth expressed with elemental force our eternal kinship with God is a universal urge. Leaves of Gold had its origin in the recognition of this impulse. From those who spoke with authority have been chosen words in which the word becomes flesh to dwell among us. Here are maxims, phrases, anecdotes, passages, proverbs, and essays from the best minds among men. Here are words of wisdom and thoughts of comfort for all mankind. Consolation is the objective of Leaves of Gold, to provide a key to things of the Spirit as inspiration for daily living its design. Well-earned sleep. Make a rule and pray God to help you to keep it. Never, if possible, to lie down at night without being able to say, I have made one human being at least a little wiser, a little happier, or a little better this day. Charles Kingsley. Neighbor. What is meant by our neighbor we cannot doubt. It is everyone with whom we are brought into contact. First of all, he is literally our neighbor who is next to us in our own family and household. Husband to wife, wife to husband, parent to child, brother to sister, master to servant, servant to master. Then it is he who is close to us in our own neighborhood, in our own town, in our own parish, in our own street. With this, all true charity begins. To love and be kind to this is the very beginning of all true religion. But beside this, as our Lord teaches, it is everyone who is thrown across our path by the changes and chances of life, he or she, whosoever it be, whom we have any means of helping, the unfortunate stranger whom we may meet in traveling, the deserted friend whom no one else cares to look after. A.P. Stanley. Immediacy. He who helps a child helps humanity with an immediateness which no other help given to human creature in any other stage of human life can possibly give again. Phillips Brooks. Boundless. They talk about a woman's sphere as though it had a limit. There is not a place in earth or heaven. There is not a task to mankind given. There is not a blessing or a woe. There is not a whispered yes or no. There is not a life or death or birth that has a feather's weight of worth without a woman in it. Think on these things. Psychologists tell us that the vividness of our memory depends on the stress of attention. Therefore, says St. Paul, if there be any virtue, if there be any praise, think on these things. Keep on. Before you give up hope, turn back and read the attacks that were made upon Lincoln. Bruce Barton. The true art of memory is the art of attention. Johnson. Nature and wisdom always say the same. Joanna. Making the best. My business is not to remake myself, but to make the absolute best of what God made. Robert Browning. What luck means? Luck means the hardships and privations which you have not hesitated to endure, the long nights you have devoted to work. Luck means the appointments you have never failed to keep, the trains you have never failed to catch. Max Aurel.